Well, welcome everybody back to the Grand Adventure of Business podcast. It's great to have you here again this particular episode, and I'm excited today because I've got a wonderful guest who I know has an amazing story. Jeanette McPetrie is joining me. She's a lady that I came into contact with probably 3 or 4 years ago, and just been interested in what she does, how she does it, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. So, Jeanette, welcome on board.
Thank you, David. It's a privilege to be here, and I'm really looking forward to your audience, hopefully your listeners, getting something that I might say that be of a bit of interest.
Absolutely. So why don't we jump in and try and tease some of these gems out? So I want to start, I suppose, by challenging the thought that, business is a grand adventure. And I know that you feel that way about it, not necessarily with the same analogies that I've got. But when did you realize, what was that moment that you realized that you wanted to be an entrepreneur and you took that motivated step towards being a grand adventure?
Well, I've liked the grand adventure part in all of life, David, ever since I was a little kid. But could I do a backstory first?
Absolutely. Love you to.
If I go back to my early 20s, now this might be a shock to some people that don't know, but I came out of the cupboard with it last year, and I was diagnosed with schizophrenia in my early 20s. I was told, Jeanette, get used to the idea you'll never work again. And a doctor even said, you're not worth it. You're not worth 2 bob, Jeanette. I felt angry, ashamed, lonely at times. But you know what? I refused to give my power away to them. And that was my first big lesson in life. And that's something I really want to hit home to your listeners. Do not give your power away in life. The second one is that your past does not define your future.
It's a good point.
I went on, I rebuilt, I went back to teaching. I had a dream to buy a rundown agricultural property, which I did. I bought and regenerated just under 1,000 acres into one of the best in the region. But there was more to life. I wanted to give back because others, had helped me. So I ended up selling, went on the road for a couple of years, and then I finally settled, and I came across the idea of the coaching, I came across the coaching institute, and that wouldn't be bad, But initially it was just to work on myself, David. I wanted to grow. I knew I had to grow. And then from there I created Focus Open Mind back in 2015, 16, with one mission was, for people to look after their health. Don't take it for granted.
Yep.
And then like last year, before last, at the end of that year, I studied under Dr. Daniel Amen, and then since then have niched down to brain health and brain fog. So I help people with brain fog. So that's the motivation behind it, is my own life. Yeah.
It's such an interesting way. Entrepreneurs don't necessarily sort of jump into businesses, but they fall into a business because of something that's going on for them in their life. And I always find it interesting to see that. What do you think might have been the biggest challenge that you've had to face as an entrepreneur?
Look, if you go back, I could think of heaps, but if I could go back to challenges, it'd have to be, rather than sort of just business, it would be that the brain health challenges that I've had on my journey, my own journey. The schizophrenia, and then again, back in 2018, the early signs of Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
But they weren't the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge, the hardest part, was choosing to be vulnerable and be open to my people that, I managed schizophrenia. and I do it well. I haven't had an issue for eight odd years.
Yeah.
When I got stuck into what's the cause,
Yeah.
and addressing it. And I wanted to help people, but they deserve the truth. So
Mm.
that was my hardest part, was coming out in the open, because it did backfire. I did come out with it when a doctor asked me to do a talk years ago, and it came back to bite me with discrimination. So it was even harder because, she was, I've done this once and it bit me. Will it bite me again, being truthful? But it hasn't, David.
Yeah. Yeah.
People have been so accepting, and I don't know, they've just been brilliant.
Mm.
And that I'm there to help others from my lived experience, not just theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have my life back. I'm rocking on, and just enjoying the gift of life again.
So what does a usual day look like for Jeanette?
Oh, usual day. Well, I've turned that upside down the last year. I actually started off with Kaylee Chu with my speaking as a speaking coach. And I used to be early to bed, early to rise. I used to get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the mornings. But now I don't have class now till 8 o'clock at night, 2 nights a week. So it was just too long a day.
Yeah.
And not finishing class till after 10, sometimes quarter to 11. And then by the time I have a cuppa and sort of come down from that high of class, well, it's after 12. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I get stuck into doing some more work. I get excited, and I last week it was a 3 o'clock job before I got to bed. And I'm big on sleep. I teach that people have to have 7 hours sleep. So early to rise on some days is not so early now, because if I go to bed late, I'm adamant
Yep.
about getting my 7 hours.
Yeah.
So, it's it just, yeah, my life's turned upside down, Dave. I was
Mm.
such an early person before, and on the farm, and food wise, I've really clamped down on eating healthy, good living, exercise, all the things that I cover with, with my people. I've got to set the example.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always think of if I may, a parent brought their kid to a psychologist once and said, I want you to help my kid get off sugar. And the psychologist said, well, you better come back in, 4 to 6 months' time. And she looked at him and he said, well, I've got to do it myself first.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting. So what would one tip be that you could offer to the listeners on something in your day to take back control of what might be going on?
Well, I love music, Dave.
Yeah.
I like waking up to music. Music is everything to me.
Yeah.
If I'm not listening to music, if I go a few days without listening to music, and I look at myself, my mood and my efficiency for the day is not as good.
Mm.
But if I'm listening to really good music in the morning, the 70s, 80s, not hard rock sort
Yeah.
of stuff,
Yeah.
just good, joyful music, it sets you up for the day. And, I'm guilty of picking up the cat and dancing around the kitchen to it.
Poor cat. But it's such a true statement, Jeanette. It's I remember a long time ago someone once saying to me that the foundation of PTSD is in the five senses. You experience something and it's traumatic, and it's through one of those five senses reconnecting with a sound, a sight, a touch, a smell, a feel, a taste that triggers PTSD. And so if you can use the five senses to then step back in, and like music for you, it was similar for me. I have a classical piece of music that I absolutely love, and it helps calm me. And you know, I listen to Pachelbel's Bell's Canon. I don't know if you know that one, but it's just a relaxing piece of music.
Yep.
But it's amazing how it can turn the anger or depression or whatever is going on with inside you, turn that around into something positive.
Yeah.
So I love your statement. I love the fact that you know, wake up to music.
I love it, you know. And it's funny that you talk about senses, Dave, because like if I just put my hand in my pocket, it's full of crystals and rocks. But this was my first one that I got so many years ago. I don't know if you can see it, but it was the initial thing to help change my state. So if I was, my state sort of slipped, I put my hand in, grab my rock. It's a pretty rock. It's smooth, the texture. But if you focus, if you're below the line in thinking,
Yeah.
just change your thinking to something where you focus on the sense. So it's impossible to be down and out if you're focusing on one of your senses.
Yes.
So with this rock, I'd pick it up and I'd go, oh, geez, it feels nice and smooth. It's shiny. It's pretty. I'm in the present moment.
Yes.
I cannot be down or led astray with negative thoughts if I'm focusing on that rock. And it's just enough to trip you to get you back into the present.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through the senses. Through the senses.
It's a great trick. It really is a good trick. Fidget spinners are another one of those.
Yeah, got one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. I've got all the tricks in the world.
Oh, look, and you know, good on you, because if they work for you, then make them part of your life.
Yeah.
You know, it's not becoming OCD or anything like that, but it's just focus on getting your mind away from what it is.
Yeah, and the rock in the pocket, like it's been years. I never go anywhere without it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pull it out if you're in a crowd or with someone. You just put your hand in your pocket, and no one knows what's going through your mind, and you might just have a quiet moment by yourself, and then you refocus back on the present, and then you're back in a proper conversation, really listening to relationships of relating to people.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And being present.
Yeah. So good. So good.
So it just that's my secret. I love my rocks.
Excellent. So let's flip it over a little bit. Can you tell me a story about a failure that you might have had, or a setback that you might have had? And what was the most important lesson that you learned from that?
You know, what comes to mind is going to the doctor's office back years ago when I was really struggling with my mind and I knew something was wrong. I was battling to operate my computer. And I went to the doctor and I came out and I was below the line because, I was so close, early stages of Alzheimer's. And I was whinging about the cost because the dental journey came up. My mouth was full of amalgams and mercury poison. They all had to come out, and the cost. And I remember to this day, I caught the train down because I didn't even trust myself to drive.
Yeah.
In the city. And I was looking for a quiet place to feel sorry for myself. And all the tables were taken at this place. And then I saw this elderly lady, and there was 4 chairs, and she's only one chair in a nice quiet spot. And I excused myself and I said, oh, would you mind if I shared your table? And she said, yeah, that's fine, Jeanette. And we got chatting. And I think I met my future self. Even her name was Jeanette. She had a banana the same as I had, and she knew all the information that I'd been studying, about getting my mind back. And I was whinging. Like, you could hear a pin drop after she said something to me.
Yeah.
And what she said, she stuck her head in my face and she said, "Do you want your money or your marbles?" So the setback was the realization that I had to spend money and spend my savings.
Yeah.
But the lesson was, what's money to you if you don't have your health?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it through everything, I got home that night and I went, wow, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And since, not just my health, but my coaching business, it's just been a never-ending investment in myself to grow. And I won't say spend, because it's an investment.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest lesson, and influenced my decisions from that day on for everything. My business, my health, my life, is investing in yourself because you're worth it.
Mm. So by doing that, how would you then define success?
It's to me, success is getting my health back.
Mm.
It's 10x. It's 10. I call it 10x your brain, 10x your business. So you get your brain right, then you can get your business right.
Yeah.
And I believe in addressing, and I have all my life, is addressing the causes, not the symptoms of health. So looking at the body holistically. I'm getting around to answering yours in a sort of a roundabout fashion.
That's all right.
What's your, if someone said, a coach came up to you and said, sexy is messy, what would you say to that?
Gee, that's such a good question. And you're flipping the tables on me.
I'm flipping the table.
Sexy is messy.
Messy is sexy.
Messy is sexy.
Sexy.
Messy is sexy. I think it would depend on my personality, but I look at that and I think, do I want my business to be sexy? I look around me right now and I'm looking at a desk that is covered in papers. And I think that is not sexy. That is not sexy at all.
I'll help you out there. Do one job well and do it right the first time. Like, when I receive my mails, I don't touch my mails unless I'm prepared to open it up, diarise it, file it, deal with it, bang. Do it once, do it right.
Oh, I agree with that principle. Totally agree with that principle. I have another party in my household that when they don't know where to put something, it goes onto my desk. And so these are not contributions from my part.
See, I go back, and why I brought this up is because this is where I run my coaching business different to other people. They say messy is sexy, just get it out, just get it done, bang, 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 just get it out. No, I'm not like that. If you buy a car, you want that car to get yourself to the destination because it's hit the production line, it's been through all the tests and the protocols and met the criteria to be ready for someone to use.
Yeah.
And reliable. And that's where I come from with my coaching, and I go against other people that say, just get it out there, just do it. No. I want something that's, my clients can observe that it's evidence-based.
Yeah.
And it's reliable and can get the results. So when I go back to how do I define success in my business, I want the results, Dave.
Yeah.
I want to be able to give stuff that I'm happy to deliver. And I'm into, when I'm looking at the body holistically, I'm not into the science propaganda of how science has been, people have been led astray with false science for profit. I'm into more alternative, you can't beat nature, Dave. Yeah, so back to evidence-based, with alternative medicine, with my coaching stuff that's, it's got the results. Like I had a client that I finished up early this year, and when she came back, I probably spent 8-9 months with her, and she did the Brain Masters journey, which is my big one. She was unemployed. She found the money, and within a couple of months, we had her with a job, and she was having 5 or 6 panic attacks a day. About 3 months in, we had her down to 1 a week.
Yep.
And then by the time I finished her with her, it was no longer an issue.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's results. That's success.
Absolutely.
That to me was success.
Yeah.
And the fact that my clients, even though that I've finished with them, 9 months, with the big program,
yeah,
they can feel free to ring me up and say, oh, hey, and I just love having a conversation with people that have just put everything in to what I've given them.
That's great. That is so good, Jeanette. And I want to take this opportunity to ask you, how can someone connect with you if they feel a need for your help? How can they connect with you?
With my probably the best way is with my email.
Yeah.
Which is Jeanette@focusopenmind.com.au. Yep,
that's all one word, Focus Open Mind.
Yes, yeah. Yes. Jeanette is JEANETTE. It's with a E, like it's not Janet, it's Jeanette.
Yep.
And Focus Open Mind is all one word, .com.au.
Right.
But they can easily send me an email and just say, oh, hey, I listened to your podcast, and touch base.
Yeah.
I just reach out. I'm not going to bite, and I'm not going to say no to anyone. I love talking to people. I love people these days. When I was in my 20s and I was filled with anger, I just didn't want anything to do with anyone. And now, I chat to anyone. Yeah. Like one of my last clients that I met in the shopping line. He rang me up a couple of weeks ago and said, I think I need your help. And it was just from having a chat in the grocery line.
That's great. That's great. Hey, Jeanette, I know you've got a program coming out shortly. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I've been thinking, because I'm going to rewrite another one that's a bit shorter for people. So it's going to be 12 weeks as well. It's going to be a new one that I'm going to put out there. So keep your eyes out for that one. Yeah. It's going to be good.
Have you got a name for it yet?
Probably not. I'm sort of thinking about brain cogs or something like that, because of farming background. I'm thinking of the cogs on the sewing machine.
Yes.
When I'm putting crops in, and how they all mesh together and work together. Yeah. So I've sort of had that in the back of my mind.
Playing with that mind.
Playing with brain cogs or something like that. But
it's all good.
So, but keep an eye out for the masterclass.
Yes.
I'll run a masterclass first, and then I'll do some tiny challenges, so people will get the feel of what I'm offering. Like they'll have a masterclass, and I'll offer a challenge, which will be another 6 touch points.
Yeah.
5, so 7. So people can have 7 touch points with me before they even have to consider
Mm.
putting their hand in the pocket and investing.
Yep.
Because then they'll really get a taste of who I am.
Yeah.
And it works both ways. Can I work with you? Are you willing to put the work in? Because I don't work with just anyone, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to work with people that'll get results. If I take someone on that's not ready and they don't get me results, it doesn't you sort of it sort of puts a hole in your business in a way because someone hasn't put the work in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know they can do better if they put the work in. So
Absolutely.
I only take people on that put the work in.
Mm. Very good.
And so I do get the results. And just with the conversion rates, like last year, up until I closed my books earlier this year, I had a 80% conversion rate.
Wow. That's great. That's a really significant number.
That's because people are happy and they've worked with me 7 times before they even have to consider.
Yeah.
And they're happy.
Yeah.
And so that's why the conversion rates are high.
Ah, amazing. Amazing. So thank you again, Jeanette, for your time today. I've really appreciated you taking your time to come and talk to me. For those who are interested in reaching out to Jeanette, please do that either through me or through the email address that she's given you. And we'll see you on the other side.
Oh, thanks a lot. I hope something gels and helps your people, Dave.
Yep, I'm
And
sure it will.
it's could I just end with a couple of things like
Yeah.
your brain is your biggest business asset.
Mm,
Protect it, fuel it, and then you'll have, not just for your business but for your life. And the second one is that entrepreneurs don't do it alone, Dave.
yep.
And when we stand on, the shoulders of people that have been before us, it just helps so much. So, and it's taken me decades to put together what I've learned by standing on other people's shoulders and bringing forward what I've learned from other experts. And those people that believe in you, like we both know Gary Schuller, he's
Yep.
believed in me for years and years and years. And I owe so much to Gary with SpeedBiz. So if businesses out there are wanting to network, like I just recommend Gary so much.
Mm,
So I'm passionate about building communities, and keep your eyes out for my podcast next year for Shed and Sheds Mates also.
yes. Yes.
Better slip that one in.
Yeah, no, good on you. Good on you, Jeanette. All right. Thank you very much. And so I've just heard that sound, the bosun's call, and it's just an ideal time, really, to welcome Gary Schuller back into the program. So, Gary, how are you?
I'm fantastic, David, and thank you. Great program as always. You are a great interviewer. And it got me thinking, David, we were talking recently about the importance of reflection, reflecting on life, etc. And I believe you've had an amazing revelation yourself.
Yeah, look, it is, Gary, and it raised in my mind the whole question of what does revelation actually do for us in our business walk? And I'll just quickly share the revelation that I had, and it was you that prompted me to think about this. But to go back and look at the last couple of years and think, what impact am I having? And I've looked back. I've done in excess of 2,000 hours of one-to-one executive coaching, and that's talking to people who are senior executives in business and the public sector. That has been basically 290 odd clients or more, and a combined career and business value in excess of $44 million.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, we don't go back and look at the impact that we're having. It's a bit like that old saying, you drop a rock in a pond and the ripple of the waves go out from that. And I think it's the same with the ship analogy that I use. Our ship, my ship of the Grand Adventure is carving its way through the oceans, and we're leaving behind us a wake. And that wake is impacting so many people. Because if I impact one and they then go and impact their staff, and those staff go and impact more people, I'm looking at potentially tens of thousands of people that have been impacted by what I've said into the life of their boss. And it raises that question, doesn't it, Gary, where we need to think for ourselves, what impact are we having on the world that we're connected with? And I think it's a great thought to leave our listeners with.
Fantastic, David, as always. Insightful. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Gary.